The big house on Maple Lane stood quiet, like a forgotten song. Its tall windows caught the last light of the day, but inside, it felt cold and empty. I sat in my old armchair, the one John used to love, staring at the dust floating in the air. At 76, I was like that dust, still here, but barely noticed. The walls held memories of laughter, Sunday dinners, and my kids running through the halls. Now it was just me, Grace Harper, a widow left behind by time and family. My heart beat unevenly, a reminder of the surgery I'd face soon. And the ache wasn't just physical. My son, Michael, hadn't called in weeks. I wondered if he even cared. The silence was heavy that evening. I looked at the family photo on the mantel. John, me, Michael, and Sarah, all smiling under a summer sky. Michael was 6 then, his eyes bright with dreams. I gave him everything, love, money, chances to start over. But somewhere along the way, he stopped seeing me. Last month, I told him about my heart trouble. "Mom, I'm swamped with work," he said, his voice distant. "I'll visit soon." He didn't. Instead, I saw his post online, a cruise with his wife Lisa, smiling with drinks in hand. My chest tightened, not from my condition, but from the sting of being forgotten. I got up slowly, my knees creaking, and walked to the kitchen. The pills on the counter were lined up like soldiers, morning, noon, night. I swallowed them with water, my hands shaking. The doctor said the surgery was urgent, a bypass to fix my clogged arteries. I'd called Michael again yesterday, left a message. "Son, it's serious. I need you." No reply. Sarah, my daughter, lived in Seattle, busy with her kids. She'd call, but it wasn't the same. I felt alone, like the house was swallowing me whole. The phone rang, sharp and loud. My heart jumped. Maybe it was Michael. I shuffled over, hope flickering. "Hello," I said, my voice soft. "Mom, it's me." Michael's voice came through rushed. "I'm nearby. Can I stop by quick?" My face lit up. "Of course, honey. I'd love that." He hung up fast and I moved to the mirror, fixing my gray hair, putting on a bit of lipstick. I wanted to look strong, not like the tired woman I felt inside. I told Mary, my housekeeper, to make coffee and get the cookies Michael liked. Michael arrived 30 minutes later, his suit crisp, his watch glinting. He kissed my cheek, quick and dry. "You look good, Mom," he said, but his eyes were on his phone. We sat in the living room, the coffee steaming between us. "How's Lisa?" I asked, trying to keep things light. "She's great. We're planning a big trip soon," he said, not looking up. My stomach sank. He didn't mention the cruise I'd seen online. "Michael, my surgery's next week," I said, my voice shaking. "It's serious. I'm scared." He nodded, still scrolling. "You'll be fine, Mom. It's a good hospital." I waited for more, some comfort, a promise to be there. Nothing came. Then he leaned forward, his tone shifting. "Mom, I've got this new deal. A restaurant downtown. It's a sure thing, but I need some cash to seal it." My heart sank deeper. He wasn't here for me. He wanted money. Again. "How much?" I asked, my voice flat. "Just 200,000, he said, like it was nothing. I stared at him, the boy I'd raised, now a man who saw me as a bank. "I'll think about it," I said, my throat tight. He frowned but didn't push. "Gotta run, Mom. I'll call soon." He left, and the house felt emptier than before. I sat back in my armchair, tears burning my eyes. The pain in my chest grew sharp, spreading to my arm. I gasped, clutching the armrest. Was this it? I reached for my phone, my fingers fumbling. 911, what's your emergency?" a voice said. "My chest, it hurts," I whispered. The world blurred, and I thought of Michael, on his cruise, not knowing I might not make it. As the ambulance sirens wailed in the distance, I felt a spark of anger. If I survived this, things would change. I wasn't done yet. In the hospital, the beeping monitors pulled me back. Dr. Carter stood by my bed, his face serious. "Mrs. Harper, you had a heart attack. We need to do the bypass soon." I nodded, my mind racing. I needed my kids. Sarah answered my call right away. "Mom, I'll try to come, but the kids have school," she said, her voice cracking. Michael didn't pick up. I texted him. "In hospital. Surgery soon. Please call." Hours passed. His reply came late. "Busy, Mom. You'll be okay. Talk soon. My heart broke, but that spark of anger grew. He'd chosen a cruise over me. I wouldn't let that define my end. Evelyn, a nurse with kind eyes, checked my chart. You okay, Mrs. Harper? She asked, sitting by my bed. I shook my head, tears spilling. My son, he's not coming. She took my hand. I'm here. You're not alone. Her warmth reminded me of my neighbor, Clara, who'd sent her to check on me. Evelyn's care felt like family, more than Michael's empty promises. As I lay there, a plan formed. My money, my house, my life, they were mine to shape. Michael would learn what mattered. I'd make sure of it. The night before surgery, I stared at the ceiling, fear and resolve mixing in my chest. Evelyn brought me tea, her smile steady. You're strong, Grace, she said. I smiled back, thinking of John. He'd always said I was tougher than I looked. I called my lawyer, Thomas, whispering so the nurses wouldn't hear. I need to change my will, I said. Can you come tomorrow? He agreed, his voice calm. I hung up, feeling a weight lift. This wasn't just revenge. It was me taking back my life. Michael's cruise was his choice. My next move was mine. The hospital room felt smaller that morning, the sunlight sneaking through the blinds like it was afraid to stay. I lay in bed, my hands folded over the thin blanket, waiting for Thomas, my lawyer. My heart still ached, not just from the attack, but from Michael's cold text. Busy, Mom. You'll be okay. Those words played in my head, each one a little cut. I thought of him on that cruise, laughing with Lisa, while I faced surgery alone. But I wasn't alone, not really. Evelyn's kind face kept me grounded. And Clara's cookies sat on the table, a reminder of people who cared. Evelyn came in, her nurse's shoes squeaking on the floor. Morning, Grace, she said, checking my monitor. You look thoughtful. I smiled weakly, just thinking about my kids. She nodded, her eyes soft. Family's tough sometimes. My mom, Clara, says you're like her sister. She's worried sick about you. My throat tightened. Clara, my neighbor, had been more family than my own kids lately. Tell her I'm hanging on, I said. Evelyn squeezed my hand. You're tougher than you think. A knock broke the quiet. Thomas stepped in, his gray suit neat, a briefcase in hand. Mrs. Harper, he said, his voice low. You wanted to see me? I nodded, glancing at Evelyn. Can we have a minute? She left, promising to check back soon. Thomas sat by my bed, pulling out a notepad. You mentioned your will, he said. I took a deep breath, my voice steady despite the fear in my chest. I want to change it. Big changes. His pen paused, but he didn't question me. Tell me what you're thinking. Before I could start, the door swung open. Michael stood there, his face flushed, holding a bouquet of roses. My heart jumped. Hope and hurt tangled together. Mom, he said, stepping in. I got your text. I came as soon as I could. Thomas raised an eyebrow, but I waved him to stay. Michael set the flowers down, his eyes darting to Thomas. What's going on? He asked, his voice sharp. I studied him, searching for the boy I'd raised. Just talking about some papers, I said, keeping my tone light. Why are you here, son? Michael shifted, his hands in his pockets. I was worried. That text about the hospital. I didn't know it was so bad. His words sounded rehearsed, like he'd practiced them in the car. I wanted to believe him, but the cruise photo flashed in my mind. Him smiling, not a care in the world. You didn't call back, I said, my voice cracking. I needed you, Michael. He looked away, guilt flickering across his face. I've been slammed, Mom. The restaurant deal, Lisa's been stressed, but I'm here now. Thomas cleared his throat, breaking the tension. Should I come back later? He asked. Michael's eyes narrowed. What's he doing here? Is this about money? My chest tightened, anger bubbling up. He hadn't changed. He saw me as a wallet, even now. It's about my future, I said, my voice firm. Sit down, Michael. Let's talk. He hesitated, then pulled up a chair, his jaw tight. Thomas stayed quiet, waiting for my lead. I leaned back, my mind racing. I wanted to tell Michael everything. How his neglect hurt. How I was rewriting my will to teach him a lesson. But something stopped me. Maybe I still hoped he'd change. Michael, I started. My surgery's tomorrow. It's risky. I need to know you'll be here. He nodded quickly. Of course, Mom. I'll cancel my plans. I raised an eyebrow. Even the cruise? His face froze, like he'd been caught. How do you know about that? He muttered. I saw your post, I said, my voice low. You looked happy. He rubbed his neck, flustered. It was a work thing, Mom. Networking. I didn't mean to hurt you. His excuse felt thin, like paper tearing under pressure. I wanted to scream, to ask why he chose a party over me. Instead, I said, I gave you so much, Michael. Money, time, love. What did I get back? He looked down, silent. For a moment, I saw the little boy who'd cry in my arms. But that boy was gone, replaced by a man who only showed up when he needed something. Thomas shifted, sensing the tension. Grace, we can finish this later, he said. I shook my head. No. Let's do this now. I turned to Michael, my heart heavy but resolved. I'm changing my will. I want my money to go to people who care, not just take. Michael's eyes widened. What? Mom, you can't, after all I've done? I laughed, bitter. What have you done, son? Tell me. He stammered, no answer ready. The room felt suffocating, his silence louder than words. Before he could respond, Evelyn rushed in, her face pale. Grace, your vitals are spiking. You need to rest. She glared at Michael, like she knew he'd upset me. You should go, she told him. Michael stood, angry but helpless. This isn't over, Mom, he said, storming out. The door slammed, and I gasped, pain shooting through my chest. Evelyn grabbed my hand. Breathe, Grace. Slow. I followed her voice, tears streaming down my face. He doesn't care, I whispered. She hugged me, her warmth real. Some people do, she said. I'm here. Thomas packed his briefcase, his face soft. I'll come back after surgery, he said. You focus on getting through this. I nodded, exhausted but clear-headed. Michael's visit wasn't about love. It was about control. He'd heard about the will somehow, maybe from Sarah, and rushed to protect his share. The thought hurt, but it also lit a fire in me. I wasn't just fighting for my life tomorrow. I was fighting for my dignity, my legacy. I'd make sure my money meant something, not just another failed business for Michael. As Evelyn adjusted my pillow, I thought of Clara, her cookies, her quiet visits. I thought of Sarah, far away but trying. And I thought of Michael, on that cruise, blind to what he'd lost. Evelyn, I said, my voice steady. If I don't make it tomorrow, tell Clara thank you. For everything. She shook her head. You'll tell her yourself, Grace. You're strong. I smiled, but fear lingered. Surgery was hours away, and Michael's words echoed. This isn't over. I didn't know what he'd do next, but I knew I'd be ready. My plan was just beginning, and it would shake him more than he could imagine. The hospital room smelled of antiseptic, sharp and cold, as I lay there staring at the ceiling. Evelyn's words, "You're strong," stuck with me, but fear not at my insides. Surgery was in a few hours, and Michael's angry exit left a bitter taste. His words, "This isn't over," rang in my head like a warning. I wanted to believe he'd come back, that he'd sit by my bed and hold my hand like he did when he was little. But the man who stormed out wasn't my little boy. He was a stranger, chasing money and excuses. Evelyn popped in, her smile a small light in the gloom. "You need anything, Grace?" she asked, adjusting my fore. I shook my head, my voice barely a whisper. "Just scared, Evelyn. What if I don't wake up?" Her face softened, and she sat down, her hand warm on mine. "You will. I've seen people come through worse. And you've got fire in you." I chuckled, weak but real. "Fire? I'm just an old lady." She shook her head. "No, Grace. You're a fighter. I see it in your eyes." The door creaked open, and I tensed, half expecting Michael again. But it was Sarah, my daughter, her coat damp from the rain outside. Her face was pale, her eyes red like she'd been crying. "Mom," she said, rushing to my side. "I got here as soon as I could." She hugged me, her arms tight, and I felt tears prick my eyes. "You didn't have to come," I said, but my voice cracked with relief. She pulled back, her eyes searching mine. "Of course I did. You're my mom." Sarah sat, pulling her chair close. "I called Michael," she said, her voice low. He told me about the will. He's furious, Mom. Said you're cutting him out. My heart skipped, not from pain but shock. How did he know? I hadn't told him details, just that I was changing things. I didn't say that. I said, my hands shaking. I just want my money to mean something. Sarah nodded, but worry creased her face. He's telling Lisa you're giving it all to charity or something. He's not himself. The news hit like a punch. Michael was twisting my words, painting me as the villain. I pictured him on the phone with Lisa, spinning a story to save face. He came here asking for money. I said, my voice sharp. Right before my surgery. Didn't even ask how I was. Sarah's eyes widened, then softened with sadness. I'm so sorry, Mom. I should have been here sooner. I reached for her hand, squeezing it. You're here now. That's enough. But it wasn't enough, not really. The hurt of Michael's betrayal mixed with the fear of surgery, and I felt like I was drowning. Sarah stayed quiet, her thumb rubbing my hand, like she used to when she was a kid. Remember when we'd bake cookies with Dad? She said, a small smile breaking through. You'd let Michael lick the spoon, and I'd get mad. I laughed, the memory warm but bittersweet. You'd hide the spoon so he couldn't have it. She nodded, tears in her eyes. I miss those days. The moment was broken by a sharp knock. Lisa, Michael's wife, stood in the doorway, her designer purse clutched tight. Her smile was tight, like it hurt to fake it. Grace, I heard you're not doing well, she said, stepping in. Sarah stiffened, her hand still in mine. Lisa, I said, keeping my voice even. Nice of you to come. She sat, her eyes flicking to Sarah, then back to me. Michael's a mess. He feels awful about everything. Her words felt rehearsed like Michael's. I studied her, the woman my son married. Lisa was all polish, perfect hair, expensive clothes, but her eyes were cold, calculating. He didn't seem too upset when he asked for $200,000 yesterday, I said, watching her flinch. Sarah gasped softly, but Lisa recovered fast. He's under pressure, Grace. The restaurant deal's huge. He needs your support. My anger flared. Support? He'd left me to face death alone. I needed his support, I said, my voice shaking. He chose a cruise. Lisa's face tightened, but she leaned forward, her voice low. Let's be real, Grace. You've got more money than you need. Why make this hard? Michael's your son. Her words cut deep, like she thought I owed him my life savings. Sarah jumped in, her voice sharp. Don't talk to her like that. She's about to have surgery, Lisa. Lisa shrugged, unbothered. I'm just saying what's true. Families help each other. I felt a twist in my chest, not pain but fury. Lisa wasn't here for me. She was here for the money, just like Michael. I wanted to tell her off, to scream that I wasn't a bank. But another knock stopped me. Dr. Carter walked in, his clipboard in hand. Mrs. Harper, we need to prep you soon, he said, glancing at Lisa and Sarah. Family can stay, but keep it calm. Lisa stood, smoothing her skirt. I'll let Michael know you're okay, she said, her tone clipped. She left without a goodbye. Sarah stayed, her hand tight in mine. She's wrong, Mom, she whispered. You don't owe anyone anything. I nodded, but my mind was spinning. Lisa's visit wasn't random. She and Michael were working together, trying to guilt me into keeping the will the same. The thought made me sick, but it also made me surer of my plan. I wasn't just changing my will for revenge. I was doing it to protect what mattered. Love, loyalty, the things Michael and Lisa didn't understand. Evelyn came back, her eyes narrowing as she saw my pale face. Too many visitors, she said, checking my chart. You need rest, Grace. I nodded, but my heart was racing. Evelyn, can you call Thomas back? I asked. I need to finish what we started. She hesitated, then nodded. I'll get him. But you stay calm, okay? Sarah squeezed my hand. I'll stay till you go in, she said. I smiled, grateful for her, but my thoughts were on Michael and Lisa. They thought they could control me. They were wrong. As Evelyn left to call Thomas, I closed my eyes, picturing John. He'd always said to trust my gut. My gut told me Michael wouldn't change, not without a push. The will was my push, my way to show him what family really meant. But as the surgery loomed, a new fear hit me. What if Michael fought back? What if he tried to take everything? The thought sent a chill through me, but I pushed it down. I was Grace Harper, and I wasn't done fighting. Not yet. The hospital room buzzed with the hum of machines, but it was Sarah's quiet breathing beside me that kept me anchored. Her hand stayed in mine, warm and steady, as we waited for Thomas to return. My surgery was hours away, and my heart felt like it was carrying 100 pounds. Fear of the operation, anger at Michael, and a flicker of hope that I could still make things right. I looked at Sarah, her face tired but full of love, and felt a pang. She'd flown across the country, left her kids, just for me. Why couldn't Michael do the same? Mom, Sarah said softly, breaking the silence. Why didn't you tell me things were this bad with Michael? Her voice was gentle, but it held a trace of hurt. I sighed, my eyes on the ceiling. I didn't want to burden you. You've got your own life, your kids. She shook her head, her grip tightening. You're not a burden, Mom. Never. I wish I'd known. Her words hit me hard, like a door opening to a room I'd kept locked. I'd been so focused on Michael's betrayal, I hadn't seen how much Sarah cared. Before I could answer, the door opened, and Thomas walked in, his briefcase clicking shut. Grace, he said, nodding to Sarah. I've got the papers ready. We can go over your changes now. Sarah looked at me, her eyes wide. You're really doing this, aren't you? She asked. I nodded, my voice firm. I have to, Sarah. Michael needs to learn what family means. She bit her lip, like she wanted to argue, but stayed quiet. Thomas pulled up a chair, his pen ready. What do you want in the new will? He asked. I took a deep breath, my hands trembling. I want most of my money in a trust, I said. For my grandkids, Sarah's boys, and maybe others who deserve it. People who show real care. Thomas nodded, scribbling notes. And Michael? He asked, his voice careful. I paused, my heart twisting. He gets a small amount, enough to live on. But the rest, he only gets it if he proves he can put family first. Sarah gasped. Mom, that's harsh. He's your son. I looked at her, tears in my eyes. I know, but he chose a cruise over me, Sarah. I can't let that go. The room went quiet, the weight of my words settling in. Then a sharp voice cut through. You can't do this. It was Michael, standing in the doorway, his face red with anger. Sarah jumped, and Thomas tensed, but I just stared at him. How long were you listening? I asked, my voice cold. He stepped in, his fists clenched. Long enough. You're punishing me for one mistake, Mom. That's not fair. I laughed, sharp and bitter. One mistake? You ignored my calls, Michael. I was dying, and you were sipping cocktails on a boat. He flinched, but his eyes burned. I said, I'm sorry. I'm here now, aren't I? His voice was loud, and Evelyn poked her head in, frowning. Keep it down, she said. Grace needs calm. Michael ignored her, pointing at me. You're acting like I'm some criminal. I've got a life, Mom. I can't drop everything for you. His words stung, but they also lit a fire in me. You dropped nothing, I said, my voice shaking. You didn't even call. Lisa came here, trying to guilt me into giving you money. You sent her, didn't you? Michael's face went pale, caught off guard. No, she came on her own, he stammered. I didn't believe him. Sarah stood, her voice sharp. Stop lying, Michael. Mom's about to have surgery, and you're fighting about money? He turned on her, his eyes flashing. Stay out of this, Sarah. You're just happy she's giving your kids everything. Sarah's mouth dropped open, hurt washing over her face. That's not true, she whispered. I just want Mom to be okay. I felt like I was watching my family fall apart, right there in that sterile room. Enough, I said, my voice loud despite the pain in my chest. Everyone froze. Michael, you want to talk about fair? I gave you everything. Money for your failed businesses, a house, cars. And you couldn't even be here when I needed you. He opened his mouth, but I kept going. I'm not cutting you out. I'm giving you a chance to earn it. Show me you care and the trust will open for you too. His jaw tightened, and for a second, I thought I saw guilt in his eyes. But then he turned and walked out, the door slamming behind him. Sarah sank back into her chair, tears streaming down her face. I'm so sorry, Mom, she said. I didn't know he'd gotten this bad. I reached for her hand, my own eyes wet. It's not your fault, sweetheart. I let him get this way. I gave too much, asked for too little. Thomas cleared his throat, his voice gentle. Grace, we need to finish this. Surgery's soon. I nodded, wiping my tears. Put in the trust. Half for Sarah's boys, half for people like Evelyn and Clara, who've been there for me. Michael gets 100,000, no more, unless he changes. Thomas wrote quickly, his face serious. This is airtight, he said. But Michael might fight it. He could claim you weren't in your right mind. My heart skipped. A new twist. Could he really take this to court? Let him try, I said, my voice steady. I know what I'm doing. Sarah squeezed my hand, her voice soft. I'm proud of you, Mom. This is brave. I smiled, but fear crept in. What if Michael did fight? What if I didn't make it through surgery to see this through? Evelyn came back, her eyes worried. Grace, they're ready to prep you, she said. Sarah stood, hugging me tight. I'll be here when you wake up, she whispered. I nodded, but my mind was on Michael. His anger, his words, they felt like a storm waiting to break. As they wheeled me toward the operating room, Evelyn walked beside me, her hand on my shoulder. You've got this, Grace, she said. I clung to her words, but a chill ran through me. Michael's slam of the door echoed in my head, and I wondered what he'd do next. Whatever it was, I'd be ready. I was done being invisible. The operating room doors loomed ahead, their steel glint making my stomach churn. The gurney wheels squeaked as they rolled, and Evelyn's hand stayed on my shoulder, her voice a steady hum. You're gonna come through this, Grace, she said, her words soft but sure. I wanted to believe her, but my heart raced, not just from the surgery but from Michael's last words echoing in my head. This isn't over. His anger, his quick exit, the way he'd twisted my will into a betrayal, it all felt like a weight I couldn't shake. I gripped the blanket, my fingers cold, and whispered, Evelyn, if I don't make it, tell Sarah I'm proud of her. Evelyn leaned close, her eyes fierce. Stop that talk, Grace. You're waking up, you hear me? Clara's already planning to bring you flowers tomorrow. I managed a shaky smile, thinking of Clara's warm kitchen, her laugh, her quiet way of checking on me. She's been more family than my own son, I said, my voice cracking. Evelyn nodded, her hand squeezing my shoulder. Some family you choose, Grace. And you've got us. Her words warmed me, but as the doors swung open, fear clawed at my chest. I wasn't ready to let go, not yet. The anesthesia mask hovered above me, and Dr. Carter's voice was calm. Count backward from 10, Mrs. Harper. I started, 10-9. But my mind flashed to Michael as a boy, running into my arms after a scraped knee. Where had that boy gone? Darkness took me before I reached 7, and the world faded away. When I woke, my throat was dry, and a dull ache spread through my chest. The room was dim, the beeping monitors steady. Sarah sat by my bed, her face buried in her hands. Sarah. I croaked, my voice weak. Her head snapped up, eyes wide with relief. Mom. Oh, thank God. She grabbed my hand, tears spilling down her cheeks. You made it. The doctor said it went well. I tried to smile, but my body felt heavy, like it wasn't mine. You stayed, I said, my voice soft. She nodded, wiping her eyes. I wasn't leaving you, Mom. Never. The door creaked, and Evelyn walked in, her smile bright. Look who's awake, she said, checking my chart. You gave us a scare, Grace, but you're tough. I chuckled, wincing at the pain. Didn't feel tough going under. She winked. You are. Clara called twice already. Wants to know when she can bring you soup. I felt a lump in my throat. Clara, Evelyn, Sarah. These were the people who showed up. Not Michael. Any word from him? I asked, my voice low. Sarah's face fell, and she shook her head. Not yet. Before I could process that, a knock came, sharp and quick. Lisa stepped in, her heels clicking, a tight smile on her face. My stomach twisted. Grace, she said, her voice too sweet. You're looking better already. Sarah tensed, her hand still in mine. What do you want, Lisa? She asked, her tone sharp. Lisa ignored her, pulling up a chair. I wanted to check on you, Grace. Michael's worried sick. I raised an eyebrow, my voice flat. Is he? Didn't see him here. Lisa's smile faltered, but she leaned in, her eyes sharp. He's dealing with a lot, Grace. That restaurant deal's falling apart without your help. He needs you. Her words were like a slap. Michael hadn't even come to see if I was alive, but he sent Lisa to push for money. He needs my money, I said, my voice cold. Not me. Lisa's face hardened. Don't be like that. He's your son. Family sticks together. Sarah stood, her voice shaking. Get out, Lisa. Mom just had surgery. She doesn't need this. Lisa didn't move, her eyes locked on mine. You're making a mistake with that will, Grace. Michael deserves his share. You'll regret this. Her tone wasn't a plea, it was a threat. My heart pounded, and the monitor beeped faster. Evelyn stepped forward, her voice firm. You're upsetting her. Leave now. Lisa stood, grabbing her purse. This isn't over, she said, echoing Michael's words. She walked out, her heels echoing like gunfire. Sarah sank back down, her face pale. Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't know she'd show up. I squeezed her hand, my mind racing. She didn't come on her own, I said. Michael's behind this. Evelyn checked my monitor, frowning. Your pressure's up, Grace. Try to stay calm. But how could I? Lisa's threat, Michael's absence. It felt like they were circling, waiting to take what I'd built. Call Thomas, I told Evelyn. I need him here. She nodded, stepping out. Sarah looked at me, her eyes wet. Mom, why's Michael doing this? He wasn't always like this. Her voice broke, and I saw the little girl who'd idolized her big brother. I don't know, I said, tears burning my eyes. Maybe I gave him too much. Maybe I didn't teach him what matters. She shook her head, fierce. This isn't your fault. He's choosing this. Her words hit me hard, and for the first time I felt a shift. I wasn't just hurt, I was angry. Michael wasn't entitled to my life's work. Not anymore. The door opened again, and I braced myself, but it was Clara, her arms full of a thermos and flowers. Grace, she said, her voice warm. You scared me half to death. She set the thermos down, hugging me gently. Brought you my chicken soup. Fixes everything. I laughed, tears spilling over. You didn't have to come, Clara. She waved me off. Nonsense. Your family. Her words wrapped around me like a blanket, and I realized how much I'd needed them. Clara sat, chatting about her garden, her grandkids, anything to keep my mind off the pain. But when Sarah stepped out to call her husband, Clara's voice dropped. Grace, I heard Michael yelling in the hall earlier. He was on the phone talking about lawyers. My heart stopped. Lawyers? I whispered. She nodded, her face worried. Said something about contesting your will. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I gripped the blanket, fear and fury mixing. Michael wasn't just angry. He was planning to fight me. Maybe even before I was out of this bed. Evelyn came back, Thomas behind her. Grace, he said, his face serious. You wanted me? I nodded. My voice steady despite the storm inside. Michael's talking about lawyers, Thomas. Can he stop my will? Thomas frowned, sitting down. If he claims you weren't sound of mind, he could try. But we'll make this ironclad. Clara squeezed my hand, her voice fierce. You don't let him bully you, Grace. You're stronger than he knows. I looked at her, at Sarah coming back in, at Evelyn's kind eyes, and felt a spark. They were right. I was strong. And I wasn't done fighting. As Thomas started outlining the trust, my mind raced. Michael's threats, Lisa's cold words. They thought they could scare me into giving in. But I was Grace Harper, and I'd survived worse than this. The surgery was just the start. My real battle was with my son, and I'd make sure he felt the weight of his choices. Whatever he did next, I'd be ready, and my plan would shake him to his core. The hospital room felt smaller as the afternoon light faded, the air thick with the scent of Clara's soup and the weight of Michael's threats. My chest throbbed from the surgery, but my heart hurt more, replaying Clara's words about Michael's phone call. Lawyers, contesting my will. I lay there, pillows propping me up, while Sarah sat close, her eyes tired but fierce. Thomas scribbled notes by my bed, working to protect my trust. Emily wasn't here yet. She'd stayed home, but her absence made me miss her quiet strength. I wanted to believe Michael would stop, but his anger felt like a storm I couldn't outrun. Grace, Thomas said, his voice steady. We can lock this trust down. If Michael claims you're not thinking straight, we'll have witnesses. Evelyn, Clara, Dr. Carter. I nodded, my hands trembling. Make it strong, Thomas, I said. I don't let him take control. Sarah leaned in, her voice soft. Mom, this is big. Are you sure you want to push him this far? Her worry hit me, and I met her eyes. I don't want to, Sarah, I said, my voice cracking. But he's left me no choice. He went on that cruise while I was fighting to live. The door creaked, and Evelyn rushed in, her face tight. Grace, there's a visitor, she said, glancing at Sarah. It's Michael's daughter, Emily. My heart lifted. Emily, my sweet granddaughter, was 19, shy but loyal. I hadn't seen her much lately, not since Michael kept her away during his divorce fights. Let her in, I said, hope flickering. Sarah frowned. Emily? How'd she know you were here? Evelyn shrugged. She said she saw your post online, Sarah. Emily stepped in, her eyes red, clutching a worn teddy bear I'd given her years ago. Grandma, she said, her voice breaking. I didn't know you were so sick. She ran to my side, and I grabbed her hand, tears spilling. Emily, you're here, I said, my voice thick. That's all that matters. She sat, her fingers tight around mine. Dad didn't tell me, she said. I had to find out myself. I'm so sorry. Sarah hugged her, her voice soft. You're here now, Em. That's enough. The warmth of Emily's hand grounded me, but a loud knock shattered the moment. Michael burst in, his face flushed. Emily, he shouted. Why are you here? I told you to stay home. Emily shrank back, and I felt a surge of anger. Don't yell at her, I said, my voice sharp despite the pain. Michael's eyes locked on me, then Thomas, and he sneered. What's this? A family meeting to cut me out? Sarah stood, her voice shaking. Michael, stop. Mom just had surgery. She doesn't need this. He laughed, bitter. She's fine enough to change her will, isn't she? I heard you, Mom, giving it all to Sarah's kids, to strangers. My monitor beeped faster, and Evelyn stepped forward. You're stressing her out, she said. Leave, or I'll get security. Michael ignored her, pointing at me. You think you can erase me? I'm your son. Emily's voice cut through, small but fierce. Dad, you're the one erasing her. You weren't here when she needed you. Michael froze, his face twisting with guilt or anger. I couldn't tell. Stay out of this, Emily, he snapped, but his voice wavered. I looked at him, my heart breaking. She's right, Michael, I said. You chose a cruise over me. Now you're fighting for money, not family. He clenched his fists, his eyes darting to Thomas's papers. You're punishing me for one mistake, he said. I'll fight this. You're not thinking straight. Emily gasped. Dad, how can you say that? The room felt like it was closing in, my chest tight with pain and fury. You think I'm crazy? I said, my voice low. I see you clearer than ever. I gave you everything, and you gave me nothing. Sarah grabbed his arm. Michael, please just go. You're making it worse. He pulled away, his eyes cold. You're all against me. Fine. I'll see you in court, Mom. He stormed out, the door slamming, and Emily burst into tears, burying her face in her hands. I pulled her close, ignoring the ache in my chest. It's okay, Emily, I said, tears streaming. You didn't do anything wrong. She shook her head, sobbing. I hate him for this, Grandma. Why can't he just love you? Her words broke me, and I held her tighter, feeling Sarah's hand on my shoulder. He's lost, Emily, I said. But you're not. You're my family. Sarah's voice was soft. We both are, Mom. We're not going anywhere. Evelyn checked my vitals, her face worried. Grace, your pressure's up, she said. You need to calm down. I nodded, but my mind raced. Michael wasn't just angry. He was dangerous, ready to lie about me to win. Thomas, I said, my voice firm, add Emily to the trust. She gets a share, like Sarah's boys. And Clara, Evelyn, they deserve something too. Emily looked up, shocked. Grandma, no, I didn't come for that. I smiled. I know, honey. That's why you're in it. Thomas nodded, writing fast. This'll hold, he said. But Michael's serious about a fight. We'll need to be ready. Clara, who'd been quiet, spoke up. Grace, you're doing right, she said, her voice warm. Don't let him scare you. You've got us. I looked at her, Sarah, Emily, Evelyn, and felt a fire ignite. Michael thought he could bully me, but he was wrong. My trust was about love, not revenge, and I'd make sure he saw that. Thank you, I said, my voice steady. All of you. I'm not alone. As Evelyn dimmed the lights, Sarah and Emily stayed close, their presence like a shield. Thomas packed his papers, promising to return tomorrow. I closed my eyes, exhausted but resolved. Michael's fight was coming, but I was ready. My will wasn't just about money. It was about showing him what he'd lost. He'd feel the truth of his choices, and I'd make sure it shook him deep, no matter what he did next. This rewritten 6th section aligns with the original storyline, connects seamlessly with the 5th and 7th sections, and maintains the emotional depth, dialogues, and twists you requested. Let me know if you need further adjustments or want to proceed with anything else. The hospital room was quiet now, the soft glow of the lamp casting shadows on the walls. My chest throbbed from the surgery, but it was the ache in my heart that kept me awake. Emily's hand rested in mine, her breathing steady as she dozed in the chair beside me. Sarah sat nearby, staring out the window, her face tired but calm. The memory of Michael's angry words, "I'll show everyone you're not right in the head," hung heavy, like a storm cloud waiting to burst. I wanted to believe he didn't mean it, but his threats felt too real, too calculated. "Mom," Sarah whispered, breaking the silence. "You okay? You're so quiet." I turned to her, my voice soft. "Just thinking, sweetheart. About Michael, Emily, all of this." She nodded, her eyes sad. "I keep hoping he'll come around, say he's sorry. But he's so lost." Her voice cracked, and I saw the weight she carried, loving a brother who'd hurt us both. "I hope too," I said, tears pricking my eyes. "But I can't wait for him anymore. I've got to do what's right." Emily stirred, her eyes fluttering open. "Grandma," she mumbled, sitting up. "You're still awake?" I smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Couldn't sleep, honey. You should go home, rest." She shook her head, stubborn like her grandpa John. "I'm staying. I don't want you to be alone." Her words warmed me, but they also hurt, reminding me of Michael's absence. "You're too good to me," I said, my voice thick. She hugged me gently, careful of my bandages. "You're my grandma. I love you." The door creaked and Evelyn slipped in, her nurse's shoes quiet on the floor. "Grace, you need sleep," she said, checking my chart. "And you too," she added, looking at Sarah and Emily. "Need to rest too." Sarah chuckled, rubbing her eyes. "We're okay, Evelyn. Just keeping Mom company." Evelyn's eyes softened. "You've got a good family, Grace. Not everyone gets this." I nodded, my throat tight. She was right, Sarah, Emily, Clara, even Evelyn. They were my family now, more than Michael had been in years. A soft knock came, and my heart jumped, expecting trouble. But it was Dr. Carter, his face kind but serious. "Mrs. Harper," he said, stepping in. "I wanted to check on you. You're doing well, but we need to keep stress low." He glanced at Sarah and Emily, then back at me. "Any concerns?" I hesitated, then said, "Just family stuff, doctor. It's complicated." He nodded, like he'd heard it before. "Focus on healing, Grace. The rest will wait." I wished it could, but Michael's threats felt like a clock ticking. As Dr. Carter left, Sarah's phone buzzed. She frowned, reading a message. "It's Michael," she said, her voice tense. "He wants to talk to me. Says it's urgent." Emily's eyes widened. "What does he want now?" she asked, her voice sharp. Sarah sighed, typing a reply. "I don't know, but I'll meet him in the cafeteria. Maybe I can calm him down." I grabbed her hand, fear spiking. "Be careful, Sarah. He's angry. Don't let him twist things." She nodded, kissing my forehead. "I'll be back soon, Mom. Promise." Sarah left, and the room felt emptier without her. Emily shifted closer, her teddy bear still in her lap. "Grandma, why's Dad so mad?" she asked, her voice small. I sighed, choosing my words carefully. "Your dad's scared, Emily. He's used to getting what he wants, and now he's not. But that's not your fault." She nodded, but her eyes were sad. "He wasn't always like this. When I was little, he'd take me to the park, push me on the swings. Her voice broke, and I pulled her close, ignoring the pain in my chest. I know, sweetheart. I miss that Michael too. Evelyn sat down, her face gentle. Grace, you're carrying a lot, she said. Want to talk? I looked at her, then at Emily, and felt tears spill over. I just wanted my son to love me, I said, my voice raw. Not my money, not my house, just me. Emily's arms tightened around me, and Evelyn reached for my other hand. He doesn't see what he's losing, Evelyn said. But you've got people who do. Like this girl here. She nodded at Emily, who smiled through her tears. Yeah, Grandma. I'm not going anywhere. The door burst open, and Sarah rushed in, her face pale. Mom, she gasped, Michael's out of control. He's in the lobby, yelling about the will. Says he's calling a lawyer tonight. My heart sank, the monitor beeping faster. Emily stood, her voice fierce. He can't do this. Grandma's not crazy. Evelyn jumped up, checking my vitals. Grace, breathe slow, she said. I'll handle this. She stepped out, her voice firm as she called for security. Sarah sat, her hands shaking. I tried to talk to him, she said. He kept saying you're punishing him, that you owe him for all he's done. I told him he's wrong, but he wouldn't listen. I closed my eyes, pain and anger mixing. He thinks I owe him, I said, my voice low. After everything I gave, he thinks it's his right. Emily's voice trembled. What if he takes everything, Grandma? What if he wins? I looked at her, my resolve hardening. He won't, I said. I'm not done yet. Evelyn came back, her face grim. Security's talking to Michael. He's leaving, but he's loud about it. She looked at me, her eyes worried. Grace, your pressure's high. You need to stay calm. I nodded, but my mind was racing. Michael wasn't just threatening. He was acting, moving fast to stop my will. I turned to Sarah. Call Thomas, I said. Tell him to come first thing tomorrow. We need this finished. She nodded, pulling out her phone. Emily leaned against me, her voice soft. Grandma, you're so strong, she said. I want to be like you. Her words hit me hard, and I hugged her, tears streaming down my face. You already are, Emily, I said. You're here. That's enough. Sarah finished her call, her voice steady. Thomas is coming at 8 a.m. He says don't worry, Mom. He's got this. I nodded, but worry not at me. Michael's fight was just starting, and I didn't know how far he'd go. As Evelyn adjusted my fore, I looked at Sarah and Emily, their faces full of love. They were my strength, my reason to keep going. Michael thought he could scare me, but he didn't know the woman I'd become. My trust wasn't just about money, it was about showing him what he'd lost. I'd survived surgery and I'd survived this. He'd feel the weight of his choices, and I'd make sure it changed him, or broke him. Either way, I was ready. The hospital room felt like a cocoon, wrapping me in quiet as the night stretched on. My chest ached from surgery, but it was Michael's threats that kept me awake, his voice echoing. I'll show everyone you're not right in the head. Sarah dozed in her chair, her hand still in mine, while Emily curled up on the cot, her teddy bear tucked close. Their presence was my anchor, but fear not at me. Michael was moving fast, talking to lawyers, ready to fight my will. I wasn't sure I had the strength to face him, but I knew I had to try. Evelyn slipped in, her eyes soft but worried. Grace, you're still up? She whispered, checking my monitor. I nodded, my voice low. Can't sleep, Evelyn. My son's trying to take everything. She sat, her hand warm on mine. He can try, but you're tougher than him. I've seen you fight these past days. I smiled weakly, tears stinging. I don't feel tough. I just want my family back. She squeezed my hand. You've got family right here. Sarah, Emily, Clara. They're your strength. A soft knock broke the quiet, and Thomas stepped in, his face grim despite the early hour. Grace, he said, keeping his voice low. I got Sarah's message. We need to talk. Sarah stirred, blinking awake. Thomas? What's wrong? She asked, sitting up. He pulled up a chair, his briefcase open. I heard from a colleague. Michael's already contacted a lawyer, claiming Grace isn't mentally fit to change her will. My heart sank, and Emily sat up, her voice sharp. That's a lie. Grandma's fine. Thomas nodded, his voice calm but firm. It's a common tactic, Emily. But we're ready. I've drafted the trust, half for Sarah's boys, half for Emily, Clara, Evelyn, and others who've shown care. Michael gets 100,000, contingent on proving he values family. Sarah's eyes widened. It's done, she asked. Thomas nodded. Just needs Grace's signature. I took a shaky breath, looking at Emily's fierce face, Sarah's worried one. Give me the pen, I said. Let's finish this. As I signed, my hand trembled, not from weakness but from the weight of it all. What if he fights this, Thomas? I asked, my voice cracking. What if he wins? Thomas met my eyes, steady. He won't. We've got witnesses, Evelyn, Clara, even Dr. Carter, to say you're sound. He's got no case. Emily leaned close, her voice soft. Grandma, you're doing the right thing. Dad needs to learn. Her words hit me hard, and I hugged her, tears falling. I hope he does, sweetheart. Sarah's phone buzzed and she frowned, reading a text. It's Michael, she said, her voice tense. He's outside, wants to see you, Mom. My stomach twisted, fear and anger mixing. Now? I asked. Evelyn stood, her voice firm. Grace, you don't need this stress. I can tell him to leave. I shook my head, my resolve hardening. No. Let him come. I'm done hiding. Michael walked in minutes later, his face tired but angry. Mom, he said, his voice low. We need to talk. Alone. Sarah stood, her voice sharp. No way, Michael. You've done enough. He glared at her. This is between me and Mom. I raised a hand, my voice steady. Let him stay, Sarah. Everyone can hear this. Michael's eyes flicked to Thomas, then Emily, and he tensed. You're all against me, he said, his voice bitter. Even my own daughter. I looked at him, my heart breaking but firm. Michael, you're against yourself, I said. I gave you everything, and you left me alone when I needed you. Now you're threatening me. He flinched, but his voice hardened. I'm protecting what's mine. You can't just give it all away. Emily's voice shook. It's not yours, Dad. Grandma's money is hers. Why can't you just love her? Michael's face fell, and for a second, I saw pain in his eyes, like her words cut deep. Michael, I said, my voice soft but strong. I still love you, but love means showing up, not taking. This trust gives you a chance to prove you can change. He laughed cold. A chance? You're punishing me, Mom. I'll fight this. You'll see. He turned to leave, but Emily grabbed his arm. Dad, please, she begged, tears streaming. Don't do this. Just be her son. He pulled away, his face closed off. You don't get it, Emily. He walked out, the door clicking shut. Sarah hugged me, her voice choked. I'm so sorry, Mom. I held her, tears falling. It's not your fault, sweetheart. He's choosing this. Evelyn wiped her eyes, her voice gentle. Grace, you're stronger than anyone I know. I nodded, but my heart ached. Michael was slipping away, and I didn't know if I could save him. But as I looked at Emily, Sarah, and Evelyn, I knew I wasn't alone. My fight wasn't over, and I'd make sure Michael felt the truth of his choices, no matter what came next. Please say next, when you're ready for the 9th section. The hospital room felt colder after Michael's exit. His words like a chill that wouldn't leave. My heart monitor beeped steadily, but inside, I was a mess of hurt and determination. Sarah sat beside me, her eyes red from crying, while Emily clutched her teddy bear, her face pale. Thomas stood by the window, his papers spread out, ready to finalize my will. I'd signed the trust, but Michael's threat to fight it hung over me like a dark cloud. I wanted to believe he'd change, but his anger told me otherwise. Mom, Sarah said, her voice shaky, you did the right thing. Michael can't bully you into giving him everything. I nodded, but my throat tightened. I just wish it didn't come to this, I said. He's my son. I keep seeing him as the boy who needed me. Emily looked up, her voice soft. Grandma, he's not that boy anymore. But I'm here. I won't let you down. Her words warmed me, and I squeezed her hand. You're enough, Emily. More than enough. Evelyn came in, her face tired but kind. Grace, you need rest, she said, checking my 4. All this drama's not good for you. I smiled weakly. I know, Evelyn. But it's not over yet. She frowned, sitting down. What's he done now? I sighed, glancing at Thomas. He's talking to lawyers, saying I'm not in my right mind. Evelyn's eyes flashed. That's nonsense. I've seen you make every decision clear as day. He's just scared of losing control. Thomas nodded, his voice calm. He can try, Grace, but we've got witnesses. Me, Evelyn, Dr. Carter. We'll all back you up. Sarah leaned forward, her voice fierce. You won't win, Mom. You're not alone in this. I looked at them, Sarah, Emily, Evelyn, Thomas, and felt a spark of strength. They were my family now, not just by blood but by choice. But the fear lingered. What if Michael dragged this out? What if he hurt Emily or Sarah to get to me? A knock broke my thoughts, and Clara shuffled in, her arms full of fresh flowers. Grace, you're still awake? She said, her voice warm. I brought these to cheer you up. She set the flowers down, their bright colors cutting through the room's gloom. I smiled, tears pricking my eyes. Clara, you're too good to me. She waved me off, sitting close. Nonsense. You'd do the same for me. Now what's this I hear about Michael causing trouble? Sarah filled her in, her voice low. He's threatening to fight Mom's will. Says she's not thinking straight. Clara's face hardened. That boy's got no shame. Grace, you raised him better than this. I nodded, my voice cracking. I tried, Clara. But somewhere along the way, I lost him. Emily's eyes welled up. It's not your fault, Grandma. Dad's making his own choices. Her words hit hard, and I pulled her close, feeling her tremble. I know, sweetheart. But it still hurts. The door opened again, and my heart jumped, expecting Michael. But it was Dr. Carter, his face serious. Mrs. Harper, I need a word, he said, glancing at the others. Privately, if possible. Sarah frowned, but I nodded. It's okay. Say what you need to. He hesitated, then spoke. I overheard Michael in the hall, talking to someone on the phone. He mentioned a doctor's report, something about your mental state. I don't know details, but it sounded planned. My stomach dropped. Planned. I whispered. He's trying to fake something? Thomas's face darkened. That's fraud, he said. If he's forging medical records, we can stop him cold. Evelyn stood, her voice sharp. I'll talk to the hospital staff. No one's giving out false reports on my watch. Clara grabbed my hand, her voice fierce. You don't let him scare you, Grace. You're stronger than he knows. I nodded, but fear and anger churned inside. Michael wasn't just fighting. He was playing dirty, trying to paint me as crazy to steal what I'd built. Thomas, I said, my voice steady despite the pain. Add a letter to the trust. I wanted to say why I did this, because I want my family to value love, not money. He nodded, scribbling fast. That'll help in court, he said. It shows your intent. Sarah's eyes softened. Mom, that's beautiful. It's you. Emily hugged me, her voice muffled. I'm so proud of you, Grandma. I held them both, tears streaming down my face. Michael's betrayal hurt, but their love gave me strength. As Evelyn and Thomas stepped out to make calls, Clara stayed, her voice soft. Grace, remember when John passed? You held us all together. You can do this too. I nodded, thinking of John's laugh, his steady hand in mine. He'd believe in me now. Michael thought he could break me, but he was wrong. My trust was my stand. My way of showing him what he'd lost. The fight was coming, and I'd face it with the family I'd chosen, stronger than ever. The hospital room glowed softly in the morning light. A new day breaking through the blinds. My heart felt steadier now. The surgery behind me, but the fight with Michael loomed large. Sarah sat by my bed, her face calm but tired, while Emily drew pictures on a notepad, her teddy bear propped up beside her. Clara's flowers brightened the room, and Evelyn's quiet checks kept me grounded. Thomas had left to file the trust, promising it was airtight. But Michael's plan to fake a doctor's report about my mental state twisted my insides. I wasn't scared anymore, just ready. Mom, Sarah said, her voice soft. You look stronger today. I smiled, squeezing her hand. I feel it, sweetheart. Thanks to you and Emily. Emily looked up, grinning. Grandma, I drew you with a superhero cape. I laughed, my chest aching but my heart full. That's me, huh? She nodded, serious. You're fighting Dad's nonsense. That's super. Her words warmed me, and I realized how much her courage had carried me through. The door opened, and Thomas walked in, his face triumphant. Grace, it's done, he said, holding up papers. The trust is filed, with your letter explaining everything. Michael's lawyer called. They've got nothing solid. Sarah's eyes widened. He's backing off. Thomas nodded. He tried pushing a report, but Evelyn's hospital contacts shut it down. He'd have to commit fraud to keep going, and he knows it. Evelyn, standing by my smirked. Told you, Grace. No one messes with my patients. I let out a breath, relief washing over me. So it's over? I asked. Thomas sat, his voice gentle. Legally, yes. But Michael's still your son. That's up to you. His words hit hard, and I looked at Sarah and Emily, their faces hopeful but cautious. I want him to learn, I said. Not just lose. Emily nodded, her voice soft. I think he can, Grandma. He looked sad when he left yesterday. A knock came, and my heart jumped. Michael stood in the doorway, his face pale, no anger left in his eyes. Mom, he said, his voice low. Can I come in? Sarah tensed, but I nodded. Come on, Michael. He stepped in, hands in his pockets, avoiding Emily's gaze. I dropped the lawyer, he said. I was wrong. About everything. The room went quiet, and I studied him, searching for the boy I'd raised. Why now? I asked, my voice steady. He sat, his head bowed. Emily, he said, his voice cracking. She called me last night. Said I was losing more than money. Said I was losing you, her, everyone. Emily's eyes welled up, and she clutched her bear. Dad, I just want you to be my dad again, she whispered. Michael's face crumpled, tears falling. I'm sorry, Mom, I'm so sorry. I got caught up in the deals, the cruise, Lisa. I forgot what mattered. His words shook me, and I felt tears prick my eyes. Sarah spoke, her voice sharp. You hurt her, Michael. She almost died, and you weren't here. He nodded, wiping his face. I know. I don't deserve forgiveness, but I want to try. No more lawyers, no more fights. I looked at him, my heart torn. I wanted to believe him, but trust was hard. Michael, I said, I love you. But love means showing up. My trust stays as it is. You get a chance to earn more, but only if you prove your family. He nodded, his eyes meeting mine. I'll try, Mom. I promise. Emily reached for his hand, her voice soft. I'll help you, Dad. He hugged her, sobbing, and Sarah's face softened, her own tears falling. I watched them, my heart aching but hopeful. Michael had a long way to go, but this was a start. Clara, who'd slipped in quietly, smiled at me. You did it, Grace, she whispered. You showed him the way. Evelyn adjusted my pillow, her voice warm. You're a force, Grace. Rest now. I nodded, exhausted but at peace. Michael's apology wasn't the end. It was a beginning. My trust wasn't just about money. It was about teaching him that love and loyalty matter more than wealth. He'd ignored my surgery, chased a cruise, but my choice to stand firm shook him awake. The lesson was clear. Family isn't what you take, it's what you give. As I closed my eyes, surrounded by Sarah, Emily, Clara, and Evelyn, I knew I'd won. Not by revenge, but by showing what truly lasts. This is the final section, delivering a satisfying ending with a moral lesson about prioritizing love and loyalty over material gain. Let me know if you need any adjustments or want to add more to the story.